India is the world's fifth largest producer of wind energy with an installed capacity of nearly 12,000 megawatts. But guess what? The country has the potential to produce 4 times that capacity. But the problem is, since 2007, capacity addition has been on a decline. Lakshmi Subramanian tells you why the sector has been unable to live up to its tall promises.
Until early this decade, Tirunelveli district in Tamil Nadu was best known for its halwa. But in 2002, the winds here quite literally changed direction. Today, while Tirunelveli still maintains its reputation for this sweet, it has also emerged as India's wind farm hub, producing as much as 60% of the country's wind power. It's districts like this one that have made Tamil Nadu India's showcase for clean energy production. Tamil Nadu is an exception. It has fully exploited its gross potential of 5,530 megawatts.
In the case of Tamil Nadu, if you look at really wind installations, most of these wind installations are in areas where the land acquisition problems weren't really there. They were able to easily get land. These were in the coastal areas and other places where the problem of land acquisition wasn't there.
The problem, though, is that in 2002-2003, when wind farms like these were coming up, capacity installation was driven by industrial demand, which in turn was incentivized by the state.
Over the last 15-20 years, the fundamental impetus that the government has given is twofold. One is that you get a guaranteed PPA if you put up a wind farm. Secondly, and more importantly, you get the tax benefit. You get usually it was 100% depreciation, now it is 80% depreciation that you get for your asset.
I think it was essentially driven by a great policy. And I think the tariffs at that point in time, the depreciation benefits that companies got, I think it just maybe initially people started off by installing these wind turbines to claim accelerated depreciation benefits, but we soon realized that, well, we have about 12 gigawatt of capacity based on wind.
Why wind came up very fast was because it came up with a very good policy in those days. I wouldn't say it is a good policy now, that is accelerated depreciation. So, companies could set off their profits of one business against investments from the wind business. And so they could recover their investments very fast in maybe 3.5 or 4 years. So it made a very good business sense for everybody to invest in wind.
But the cost of producing this form of energy is higher than coal-based power. To cross-subsidize costs, many large companies started captive wind power units in the past few years. Smaller players have to depend on state utilities firms to sell their power. But poor connectivity with grids for distribution of electricity, poor infrastructure and non-availability of land has been plaguing wind power makers.
If we rethink about our India grid from north to south and east to west, we can bring down a lot of our cost level also, a lot of our losses also, and same time we can build the more efficiently.
There's quite a remarkable difference, as I understand, between states on how land is acquired, how we get permitting, and the procedures around that also vary by state. So this is a little cumbersome from our point of view.
The other support we need from the government is in terms of clarity of the land availability, especially in states like Karnataka and Maharashtra, where the available land predominantly is forest land and which has to be converted into land which is fit for installing wind turbines.
These high costs have made it unviable for power companies to bundle renewable energy with coal-based power, because bundling it would mean that the average power purchase cost, or APCC, for distributors becomes 6 to 8% higher. The good news is that the National Action Plan for Climate Change has made it mandatory for power utilities to buy 5% of their total energy procurement from renewable energy sources. And that, according to rating agency ICRA, means a 53% CAGR, or an additional 31,000 megawatts of wind energy over the next 4 to 5 years. To achieve that, India needs to explore new ways to harness wind. Here, it can take an example from Europe, which is planning on tapping the potential in North Sea with 100 gigawatt of offshore wind plans.
In India, the onshore wind will have limited potential now because of land issues, because of social issues. Maybe we really need to find out whether we can have offshore wind. Of course, the offshore wind is not as suitable as, say, North Sea for India. But still, there is some potential which we really need to harness.
Till that happens, onshore wind is the only option from which energy can be produced. The target for the 11th 5-year plan is to install 9,000 megawatts by 2012. but currently only 4,713 megawatts have been installed, which means India will have to move at the speed of wind to achieve the target.